Hello everyone, today we'll continue learning Python. Today we'll talk about tuples and when or why you should use them. So let's start. This video will be split up into two parts. First of all, I'll explain tuple in Python, and then I'll explain Namedtuple in Python. So Namedtuple is an addition for raw tuples which are used in Python. A tuple is a data structure which elements cannot be changed. So let's imagine that we have a list A, 1, 2, 3, just 1, 2, 3, and we want that list A not to change at all. So nobody can change a list A. And the problem is, what we can do here is a.append to add something to our list, or a.0, for example, equals 10. And that's a problem because a list supports item assignment. So every object in a list can be changed or can be deleted or updated. And that's a problem because there are some programs where you cannot change your data structure at all because it's forbidden, or it can interrupt your whole class or your whole object. Because of that, Python has tuples. So tuple, it's again a data structure which elements cannot be changed. And to create tuple, we can call tuple parentheses, and we can pass list here. Now let's run our print A again, and now you can see that 1, 2, 3 are in parentheses. And what will happen if I, for example, A0 assign A from 0 to 10? As you can see now, my IDE marks A0 equals 10 in yellow, because by default Python does not support item assignments in tuples, because tuple is unchanged data structure. Now let's go, and as you can see here, tuple object does not support item assignment. So we cannot change elements in our tuple, and that's all about tuple. Okay, how can we create tuple without tuple name? So we can simply remove tuple, and yeah, that's all, just parentheses. And now let's run again. And of course we should remove list brackets because it will interrupt our code. So now 1, 2, 3, and we can print type of our A. So type from A, let's run, class tuple. Everything works fine. But there is another way of creating a tuple. We can remove parentheses and A equals 1, 2, 3. That's a little weird, yes? So let's run again, 1, 2, 3, class tuple. So we can create tuple without parentheses at all, but be mindful, if you want your tuple to have one element and you call A equals 1, your A will be an integer, because it's pointless to create a tuple out of integer. And even if you call parentheses from 1, it will be a class integer. To create a tuple out of one element, you should put a comma after your element. So now, parentheses 1, comma, let's run, class tuple. Everything works fine. We can create just empty parentheses, and now class tuple. But it's not useless because tuple cannot be changed. And what's the point of storing nothing? And because of that, we use almost every object actually. True, false, I don't know, string, hello, and then comma. And now everything works fine. So tuple can store every object actually, not just integers or numbers. Yeah. So let's imagine that we have a define function. So define foo, for example, and that function requires one argument, and it's *args. If you don't know what args are, it's unlimited arguments in Python. So what I mean by it, I can print args, and now let's call function foo with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As you can see, it's a tuple because tuple is in parentheses. And I printed my arguments. I can add arguments, for example 3 right here, or I can avoid my arguments and just, you can see, an empty tuple. So arguments actually star and then any name, for example name. We can use name as unlimited arguments for a function. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's run 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything works fine. But in Python world, there is a rule. Every unlimited, not queued arguments should be called with star arguments. So star is required, but the name is by default is just args, and write like that. Everyone will understand you. The main point of our arguments is that arguments cannot be changed, so it's tuple. And you can think, wait, why? What if I want to, for example, args from 0, assign args from 0 equals to 10, and then return my arguments? What if I want to do something like this? I want to update my list in my function, or in our case it's tuple. So there is a problem with Python functions, and now I'll explain you why arguments or tuples are better to use in functions. Let's imagine that we have function foo, and by default we have a list here. For example, list A, which is equals to an empty list by default. And what if I'll append 1 to my list and then I'll print my list out? So let's call foo. We don't need any argument here because by default it's a list, and as you can see my list, empty list, is in yellow now. And I'll explain why. So now only 1. Everything works fine because we appended 1 here and we printed our A. But what will happen if I'll create a loop for I in range 10? Then I'll print my, or I'll just call foo function. What will happen? The behavior of a list is not as we thought it would be. So there is a problem. Every time I create a function, I assign A to the same object. And what I do here, I append 1 to my object, and because of that, so A is an empty list, and an empty list is one object. So every foo function has the same object in A, and because of that, when we append an information to our list, it appends to one list only. Because of that, my ID colors my argument in yellow, and it says, if you can see, default argument value is mutable. What's a mutable? Mutable is a data structure in Python which can be changed, but immutable, it's a data structure which cannot be changed. If you don't know, for example, string is an immutable data structure, so hello, and we cannot change, so A from 0 equals hello, for example, or A from 0 equals ash, just h. Now let's run. String object does not support item assignment. Yeah, that's the point. So if I'll use tuple here, what will happen? First of all, we won't be able to append because tuple is not changed at all, and by default it's better to write none here, and if A, so if A append, else something like A equals to an empty list. Now let's run our foo again, so for I in range 10, print or just foo. So now let's have a look here, and as you can see, there are only empty lists. To use Namedtuple, we should import it from collections. So from collections, import Namedtuple. And collections, it's a module for collections like counter, if you want to count something, container, default dictionary, and Namedtuple. So it helps you to manage your data in Python. And it's not installed, or it's installed in your Python, so you don't need to install something with a pip, and you should just write from collections and import Namedtuple. So Namedtuple is a function which helps us to create structured tuples in Python. And what is a structured tuple in my view, in my point of view? So it's a tuple with fields. So field, for example, you have image. I have image space.png here, I work with it. And every image has name, extensions, for example, .png, .gpg, and so on. So in our case it's png. It has size, and it has bits per pixel, I think, and it has size. Every image has its own structure. If I just create tuple, for example tuple, I can provide here name, for example, space, then extensions as png, then, and of course we should provide it in list. Or we can just simply remove all of that noise and A equals space, png, then size, then let's call black or white. Is our image colorful or not? So bv, black or white, and I think that's all. So it's great to do something like this. But what if I want to create an image which has required or which has minimal amount of fields? And if, for example, our user will remove bv, so black or white, it will raise an error. I can create a class, so class image, for example, then I can create define initialize method and self.name equals something. So, but it's not pretty. at all. And because of that we use Namedtuple. So to use Namedtuple I will call something like image creation, because we create our images, then Namedtuple, and first of all we should provide a name of our image, so a name of our class, of course, and in our case it's an image. Then we should provide fields, which are required. Fields, it's any iterable actually, but I will provide just a list. Namedtuple creates class image with that amount, or actually it creates tuple with that amount of fields required. And how can we create a new Namedtuple? So we can simply call image1 equals image, let's call creation, and for example, let's call just image1 equals image creation. So we created Namedtuple here, but we will receive an error. Why? New missing 4 required positional arguments. So we have positional arguments now, because our Namedtuple requires name, extension, size, and black or white image. And then what I want to do here, I want to provide these arguments. So for example, space, extensions just PNG, then size, let's do size in bytes. So how many bytes in our file, and then black or white I can create false, like that, capitalized. And now let's run our code again. Let's run. As you can see here, class image, name, space, extensions PNG, size very big number, and black or white it's false, because our image is colorful. And yeah, that's how we create it. So instead of using Namedtuple and create a object here, we can use image creation, for example, or you can call it as you wish, and then image1 equals image creation, and we should provide every value. If you want a default value to your Namedtuple, you can do something like defaults equals to a list, and for example, now let's remove every argument from our image creation, remove, I run, image, name equals no name, extension none, so we can provide defaults in our Namedtuple, but I have never used that because it's worthless to create default tuple, because it cannot be changed at all, and because of that it's better just to write every name, so every field out of your Namedtuple. And let's remove that. So now I'll show you some useful techniques with Namedtuple. First of all, if you want to get every field, you can choose underscore fields, and as you can see here, name, extension, size, black or white. And again, variable example, if you want to append something in your field, you cannot do this because your fields are in tuple, and because of that they cannot be changed at all, and because of that you cannot interrupt Namedtuple class work, and that's cool, I think. Then let's print again image1. You can transfer or translate your image1 to a dictionary. I think it's an ordered dictionary. Yes, ordered dictionary. It's a class from collections again. So we can look here for name, which is equals to space, extension PNG, size big number, black or white, false. Then we can get, for example, what if I want to get black or white right now? I can write BV. So as I wrote in my Namedtuple fields, BV false, or for example name, let's run, space. And you cannot do it with standard tuples in Python because they are not queued. They have no key and value, they only have value. And that's cool point about Namedtuple. And I think that's all about tuples. So again, tuple it's a collection which elements cannot be changed at all. And that's all. So good luck.